Good afternoon. Looking back on the game on Saturday, really pleased with the effort of the guys, really pleased with our week of preparation. Thought our guys were really focused, both sides of the ball, as well as special teams throughout the week, just locking into the game plan, holding each other accountable to the game plan and to be playing well on a weekly basis. And I thought we had really good energy to start the game, and I thought that was really important. We had talked about getting off to a fast start. And we were able to do that with some big plays offensively, an interception that got us a nice return for another short field, and then the big return by Shep gave us another short field, and that's what we felt we needed to do against we thought it was a real dangerous South Dakota team, is to try to not give them much life early on, and if we could do that, we thought we could control the line of scrimmage, which we ended up doing a nice job of in the second half. So overall, very good win, and we'll move on to a really talented Youngstown team.
Okay, on Allison.
It's a knee injury. It's not an ACL injury. It's not as bad as we originally thought. But does that make him 1 week or 3 weeks or 4 weeks? I'm not sure. But it's not a surgical deal.
Chris, you expect Bruce possibly to play this week?
It's hard to tell. He's gonna move around a little bit more than he did last week. I visited with him this morning, and he feels better. But does that mean he's 100%? I don't think he will be, but I know that he counts the games, and he's such a competitor, and he wants to play. So it's a benefit being at home. We don't have to find out which 64 we're going to dress. So we'll see how he progresses, and we'll be really smart with him. But in the same respect, if he progresses well enough that he could play a little bit, we would play him.
What did you see out of Seth during warm-ups? Say, is he progressing where you're like?
Well, we didn't end up playing him. We ended up taking his stuff off because you only can dress 64, and we just wanted to kind of get through the warm-ups and see how he felt. And, I thought he had a decent week of practice, but it was just his first week of practice. And that's why we really elected to go with Sabian, because we thought if we had to get into a game where in the fourth quarter we were going to run the ball with some backups, I didn't want Seth to be sitting around the whole game and try to do that where Sabian was healthy and ready to go, and we just used a couple games. So I don't know if Seth is getting closer. I sure hope so, but it's a week-to-week basis.
You really consider Talbert's redshirt gone at this with Allison the deal?
Yeah, he probably will. He's going to come up with us more. And he's done some really nice things on special teams. Same with Kaiser with Tutsie's injury. When you have those two guys out for any significant time, like Tut has been and Jalen potentially is, the value of some of those guys on special teams is so critical. And if we don't have Jalen, then Josh Hayes, who's on every special team, is also a starter on defense now. We have to find ways to get him some breathers and some rest. So I'm excited for Destin. I think he's an exceptional football player that needs just a lot of repetitions, but he's athletic, he's physical, he's a really smart kid, and he'll get into the mix.
How tough is it, Chris, looking week to week at Youngstown? They look so different from some weeks than others. How do you gauge them?
Well, two things. One, they always play us well. It's a good matchup for them. As far as what we do offensively and defensively. And you can just look over the last 3 games that we've had, and 15 and 17 at their place and 16 here. They've been 4-quarter affairs, really physical, tight-knit games. And the second thing is we have to worry about North Dakota State. We have to worry about our preparation and can't worry about really our opponent on it. We have to do a good job. We have to continue to improve in areas. And you may say, well, you won 59-14. I understand that, but for us to continue to reach and strive for the goals we have, we can detail our work better in all 3 phases. We can be a little bit better tackling on defense. We can be a little bit better in more efficient throwing the football as well as running the football on offense. And we are still a work in progress. We're better on special teams, but now we're going to have to play more young guys. So we have to spend a little bit more time this week because you're going to see some really young guys on our special teams.
Speaking of goals, one of them is always winning the Valley. How much emphasis is there on the fact that you could clinch at least a share of the title this week?
No emphasis on that other than I know the kids understand where we're at and we're off to a good start. But I think if you start looking too far ahead, you're going to get knocked off. And so we'll continue to preach the same thing we always preach. But I'm excited for the position that our guys have put themselves in. But now we have to continue to raise the bar a little bit. And what we talk about a lot is, hey, we can raise the bar and rise up and get a little bit better.
They are in that position with 3 games left in the regular season.
Just that they've had great focus and had great energy, and they've prepared on a weekly basis really well Monday through Friday, and that's what's going to be the message today is we have to continue to – there's a reason why we've been successful, and there's a formula, and that formula cannot have any shortcuts, and we have to do a great job of preparation. If we skip a date, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we'll get beat.
Is that just a chance to get Trey some snaps, or is he making a real, like if something were to happen to Easton, is he in that mix?
You know, that's probably a conversation if something did happen, but I'm going to knock on wood that nothing does happen. We know the rule, and Holden had played the previous couple times, and it was one of those things, it wasn't predetermined before the game or anything like that. Both of those two, Trey and Holden, take equal amount of snaps with the twos throughout the week. And as the game progressed and we were in the second half, talking to Coach Hedberg and Coach Mess, we decided collectively that this would be a great opportunity for him to get a little bit more experience. And so it's just game 2 for him. And obviously he and Holden will continue to battle and continue to compete there. But we're hoping not to have to play Trey and keep his red shirt.
Chris, defensively in the red zone, you've only allowed 5 touchdowns in 8 games. I mean, what's the secret recipe or what's the formula so far?
Well, I think our guys focus in the red zone a lot throughout the week of knowing that, you know, you get down there, you still can bend and not break. I thought we did a really nice job, Coach Ince did, of calling some things down there once they had first and goal inside the 5, of changing up some pressures as well as coverage and showing pressure and falling out into coverage. But our guys take really good pride in the fact that you're not in the end zone. We got to find a way to get a stop and maybe hold you to field goals. And, you know, we had a couple of 4th down stops that I equate to really turnovers, and they weren't getting points. And I know we were +2 in the turnover for the game, but it was really like +4 because we had a couple of 4th down stops. And a big reason why we've been successful, and we talk a couple of things. One's a simple thing, controlling the line of scrimmage. That's a no-brainer, offensive and defensive. You have to win the line of scrimmage. Second thing is explosive plays. We gave up a couple on defense that we need to shore up to eliminate that. We had a bunch of them on offense. And then the last thing is the turnover margin. I think we're +13 right now in the turnover margin. Easton is doing a phenomenal job of being smart with the football. Our backs and receivers are doing a great job of hanging on to the football after a run or a catch, and then we're creating those takeaways on defense.
Wilson Valley offensive lineman of the week. Is he a little bit underappreciated maybe because he's quieter, doesn't snap his shoulder back into place on ESPN?
He's just a great football player, and every week he dominates his position. And he's gone against some exceptional defensive tackles, and he's going to go against another great one this week. And I'm excited for Tanner because I think he's an all-league lineman that maybe if he continues to play at the level he has could get some All-American honors.
What went into Chanel's decision?
I think he wanted to get back closer to home.
Chris, with the senior leadership this year, do you see more peer coaching kind of on the sidelines when plays are getting done and the seniors talking to the younger guys that are coming in through the system?
Yeah, especially when you get into a game like this, it's neat to see as the young guys come off the field, the older guys grab them and say, okay, now here was your read. Did you see what I saw? And they're coaching them on the sideline or at least taking notes so that then when they come to the sideline, those older kids can talk to those younger guys about a cut if you're a running back or about how to lever something if you're a defensive player. And that those older guys know that as we continue on through this journey of the season that one of these guys is going to play a critical role in a critical situation. And right now, maybe the situation isn't as critical because of the score, but it is as far as getting those kids valuable reps because one day that's going to be a situation where we need a young guy, a freshman or a redshirt freshman, to step up in a key spot in the fourth quarter, and we want to make sure those guys feel comfortable and confident that they'll make the plays.
In the game, Shep didn't play, but Easton stayed in. Is there anything going on with Shep? And now was it just an opportunity to get those young receivers a chance with Easton?
Yeah, we can save Shep's legs, as much as we can. We're going to do that. He runs all the time, running jet motions, running verticals, running on punt return. We just were trying to save his legs a little bit more than anything. And then, just through the third quarter, we were going to just keep Easton in no matter what, especially after they took it down and scored the one time or on the long touchdown run with the quarterback they had. We were contemplating what we were going to do, and we went back with Easton mainly to make our checks at the line of scrimmage and run the football.
You guys have had continued success and consistent success against Youngstown, but how have they kind of changed and evolved, and how does Bo Pelini kind of have that stamp on this team and who they are these days?
Well, physical plays for starters. In all three meetings that we've had, the line of scrimmage has been a dogfight, and we've won some battles. They've won some battles. They're a really difficult team to run the football against, and that's what we need to be able to do is run the ball. If we have to throw it 40, 50 times against what they do in pass defense, it'll be a struggle for us. So we have to find a way to run the football against a Bo Pelini defense, and that's really difficult. And then on offense, they just do so many different things. We have to really be sound in our fundamentals and make sure that, similar to last week, we're able to get lined up and not miss a line because of the tempo. They want to go fast, maybe not at the pace of South Dakota, but they do want to go fast, and for us, that's going to be critical for us to keep the ball in front of us, not give up explosive plays, because it'll be a four-quarter game, because he'll get those guys playing this weekend.
How much with Josh playing during all of spring ball with Jalen out give you more confidence to say he can go in there and make an impact for you on Saturday?
Physically, we have no concerns about Josh Hayes. He's an elite level player that's really physical, great man coverage guy. It's just a true sophomore that didn't play very much last year as a true freshman, except for in the championship game where it was pretty critical, of just seeing all the pictures that Jalen has seen for 4 years, or that Marquise has seen for a little more than 2 years now, of just with motions and shifts and adjustments and those things, just making sure that he feels comfortable with his eyes, that they know where they're supposed to be, because when he knows what he's doing, he's an electric player and a really dominant player. And this will be a big challenge for Josh, and I'm excited for Josh. Similar to what he had in the championship game, he knows he's going to have a really substantial role this week, and so I'm looking forward to see how he responds.
So Dan Michelson, you're back on the PA. Do you know him, or do you pay much attention to the PA stuff?
I don't pay much attention. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Chris, can you talk a little bit about Easton starting to break these records that are pretty impressive at a school that has had some pretty good quarterbacks? Can you just reflect on him and moving up that ladder?
Well, just his body of work has been so great since the kid was a redshirt freshman when he came in, game 5, and was pretty raw, pretty green as far as what we thought he could do in handling the situation of checks and adjustments, but we knew he could run the football, and we knew he was a really talented player. And just his evolution from that redshirt freshman year when he was learning on the fly and running with the ones, to what he did his sophomore year when it was his show, and was able to lead as well as play at a high level. And he's had some really good guys around him. He's had really talented players. We've always had a really good offensive line, and he'd be the first one to tell you that he's been protected well. And the fact that we're able to run the football allow us for some play action, and he's been really good. I don't think there's a guy that I've seen in watching film, as well as being around Brock and being around Carson, that is as good with play action as he is. I mean, he's selling fakes. He's doing a great job of hiding the football and finding receivers, and he's played a ton of football now, so nothing's really rattling him, no matter what he sees. And I'm so happy for him because of the preparation. I go down there this morning on a Monday morning, and he's down there by 7:15 in the morning. He's there all the way. I visit with him for a little bit, for about an hour and a half this morning, about 9 o'clock. Then went back down there at noon, and he's still down there watching, dissecting the game plan, dissecting what Youngstown is doing. So his preparation is just phenomenal. And when you prepare like that, you not always going to be successful, but you're going to have a better chance to be successful because you see pictures so well.
You see anything out of Trey Lance like that in his redshirt freshman year, like you saw with Easton Stick in 2014?
Well, this is his true freshman year now. So, and the difference was we didn't have the rule, so he just stood around there with a clipboard and watched the big redhead spinning around and took some practice reps. But we also had Cole and we had James Hendricks and stuff. So, I mean, it's different. Or we had Cole, I should say, not James. But so it's a little different knowing you're never going to play, most likely, as opposed to Trey playing some. But I like it because Easton is teaching Holden and Trey and Noah, because those guys, they have a busier class schedule than Easton because Easton's already graduated, but those three are down there being a sponge to Easton, and that's great for our program and great for those guys to be able to just listen to Easton, bounce things off of him so that they feel more comfortable when their time does come.
Garrett Wagner added a little rugby style to his arsenal.
That was a called punt, but I think Wags kind of peeked up to see, well, nobody's coming. So he kind of just held on to it, maybe another couple steps. We have that punt in our arsenal. We haven't used it. And we did call it on Saturday. You never know how a guy's going to respond because it's a different technique. It's a different style, and he banged it. And I think everybody can see the confidence growing in Wags every time he goes out there. And the other thing that's been great the last few weeks is to see the consistency of Ross Kennelly continue to get better. And when that happens, when you're the punter and you know it's going to be right on the money, good things are going to happen. But I've been really pleased with Wags.
Is there an option to run on that? It's really obvious.
Boy, it better not be right now, and not unless we call it from the sideline. We would not do that unless we could call it. I mean, we have our fake punts and fake field goals and stuff, but not to go on his own probably. Then Wags might be sitting next to Coach Roll and myself.
Chris, Bo's future's a little undecided. How much has he helped, I guess, not the notoriety of the league, but give the league even more of a spotlight? How much would you like it if he stuck around in the Missouri Valley?
Well, he and I become good friends, and we had Patrick, his son, up here on a visit, and I saw Patrick when I went and visited Notre Dame, so really a big fan of Bo's, a ton of respect for what he's done for college football, and him being in our league obviously has given us great credibility. We have good credibility, but it's enhanced that credibility having him in the league. Only Bo knows what he's going to do. I know one thing, he has many more options than most of us head coaches in the league because of his pedigree and because of what he's done. And I hope he sticks around for a long time, because he's a great competitor. And there's not a bunch of defensive head coaches in college football. There's more in the Valley than there are in most places, but there's not a bunch in college football. So I hope he sticks around and continues to do what he's doing.
Youngstown dominates the time of possession. Is that more their offense staying on the field or defense keeping opponents off the field?
I think it's a combination of both. And McCaster's a stud. He's a terrific running back. That they're gonna feed him, and he's a load to bring down. So, we're gonna see both quarterbacks, I believe. I think both quarterbacks will play some. We have to prepare that they're both going to play. They both played against Indiana State, and when you have the element of a quarterback run and they both can run it, both quarterbacks can, as well as McCaster pounding the football, you're going to continue to move the chains and take the time of possession. And then they don't allow very many explosive plays on defense. So that's the other thing that it's just, you're going to earn everything you're going to get against Youngstown.
You're preparing for two quarterbacks when they're both mobile.
There's a little difference between the two, and also I don't know how much their game plan changes. We're probably not quite all the way through that from a coaching staff because Van Gorder's played a lot more. We haven't gone through all those plays, but we'll have to have a good plan for both guys.